Starting recording. Yes, Atul bhai, you can go ahead.
Okay. રેવા લોજ વડોદરા, રોહિત લોજ અમદાવાદ અને જ્યોતિ લોજ મુંબઈના ઉપક્રમે આયોજિત ત્રિવેણી મંગળવાર મીટના કર્ણાટક ફેડરેશન, તેલુગુ ફેડરેશન અને મુંબઈ ફેડરેશનના આજના પ્રવચન પતંજલિનો અષ્ટાંગ યોગ ભાગ 1 ના વક્તા પ્રદીપજી, દીપિકા પાટેજી, અર્ચના મુનશીજી તેમજ આજની સભાના મોડરેટર શ્રી તરલભાઈ મુનશી અને આજની સભામાં હાજર સર્વ સભ્યોનું સ્વાગત કરું છું. આજની સભાની શરૂઆત કેશવબેન આપણને વૈશ્વિક પ્રાર્થનાથી કરાવશે. કેશવબેન, આપનું સ્વાગત છે.
O hidden life, vibrant in every atom.
Oh, hidden light,
vibrant in every atom.
O hidden light, shining in every creature.
Oh, hidden light, shining in every creature.
O hidden love, embracing all in oneness.
Oh,
Oh, hidden love, embracing all in oneness.
May each who feels himself as one with thee
May each who feels himself as one with thee
know he is also one with every other.
know he is also one with every other.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
કેશવબેન, આપનો ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર. શ્રી તરલભાઈ મુનશીને આજની સભાની આગળની કાર્યવાહી માટે આમંત્રિત કરું છું. તરલભાઈ, આપનું સ્વાગત છે.
थैंक यू अतुल भाई. सबसे पहले बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद प्रदीप जी, अर्चना जी और दीपिका जी कि आप तीनों इस चीज़ के लिए तैयार हुए. जो एक सजेशन प्रदीप भाई की ओर से आया था कि पतंजलि अष्टांग योगा के 8 जो भाग हैं, हर भाग को एक त्रिवेणी के एपिसोड में लिया जाए. तो ये डिसाइड किया गया कि पहला मंगलवार अगले 8 मंगलवार तक पतंजलि अष्टांग योगा होगा, जिसमें आज भाग प्रथम है. मेरे ख्याल से उसके बारे में अभी प्रदीप जी बताएंगे. और उस तरह से दूसरा, तीसरा, चौथा अध्याय 8वें अष्टांग योग जब तक खत्म नहीं हो जाता 8 मंगलवारों में पूरा हो. तो बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका प्रदीप जी. एक छोटा सा इंट्रोडक्शन दे दूं कि प्रदीप MS हैं और बायोटेक्नोलॉजी में ही इज डन मास्टर्स और एक ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट की जो कंपनी है उसमें बिजनेस मैनेजर के रूप में काम करते हैं और हाइड्रोपोनिक्स के लिए वो एक पेशेवर सलाहकार भी है और इन सब कामों में काफ़ी व्यस्त रहते हैं. और वे तीसरी पीढ़ी के थियोसॉफिस्ट हैं और उनका बचपन स्वाभाविक रूप से थियोसॉफी का उनका परिचय हो गया और चौथी पीढ़ी को हमने अभी उनकी गोद में देखा. तो मेरे ख्याल से अगली जनरेशन तक भी वो 100% ट्रांसफर होगा. वे 2002 में सक्रिय सदस्य बन गए और कर्नाटक के विभिन्न थियोसॉफिकल लॉज में व्याख्यान दे रहे हैं और त्रिवेणी के लगातार आते ही रहते हैं और यूथ जो YIT है उसके भी बहुत सक्रिय कार्य करते हैं. तो प्रदीप जी, प्लीज गो अहेड. थैंक यू.
Thank you so much, Taral ji. So today we are starting a new chapter from the book Patanjali'S Yoga Sutra, and that has been a commentary on Patanjali'S Yoga Sutra has been written by Taimni ji, which is in English called Science of Yoga. A great theosophist, Taimni has dedicated his life to theosophy and theosophical society, being a professor in Banaras. And his commentaries to Patanjali's Yoga Sutras in the light of theosophy, it's a very wonderful book and which is very helpful for every theosophist in my opinion. So it's a very huge book, and I would be very happy to take up each sutras and talk. But however, as a trial, we thought of having the Ashtanga Yoga Marga, which is just a part of this book. which itself takes about 8 classes. Maybe some other day we shall take up the whole book and deal with the entire all the sutras. So, can we have the slides, Taralji?
Oh, I have to show the slide or you will show?
Please show the slide.
Oh, it will take some time. Please go on.
No problem.
Yeah.
So, why did we call this as Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga? Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, because I intentionally named it as Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, because as we all know nowadays, yoga teachers are using this word Ashtanga Yoga for their Hatha Yoga, for various types of, different kinds of exercises, which took birth from the city very near to my place, from Mysore. Patabi Joyce, he coined this term Ashtanga Yoga. So that's Hatha Yoga. They use this Ashtanga Yoga to refer to a different kind of yogasanas. That's the reason why I called it as Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, because in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, he describes about the 8 stages of yoga, or the 8 limbs of yoga, which is not only exercises, but which also deals with morality, exercises, breathing, and finally into meditation. So therefore, that's the reason I gave this name, Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, so that we are very clear about what we are talking about. So this book has various parts, and in Sadhanapada, from the verse number 29, shloka number 29, Patanjali talk about this Ashtanga Yoga, the 8 stages of yoga, 8 parts of yoga. From here on, he describes each and every stage or each and every part of yoga in a very detailed manner. So therefore, we shall start from this shloka number 29. Do we have the slides?
I'm just downloading it. Yeah, just a minute.
Great. Yeah, next slide, second slide. In Sadhanapada, the shloka number 29, it says, Yama Niyama Asana Pranayama Pratyahara Dharana Dhyana Samadhayo Ashtavangani. Yama Niyama Asana Pranayama Pratyahara Dharana Dhyana Samadhayo Ashtavangani. Meaning, these 8, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. These 8 are the 8 limbs of yoga. So why do Patanjali Maharshi, he called these as limbs, anga? Ashtava anga means 8 limbs. So why does he call them as limbs? It's a very interesting thing to discuss. He could have easily called as 8 parts or 8 stages or anything, but he called them as 8 limbs. So that's a very interesting thing to know first. We all know what are limbs. We have our limbs. We have 4 limbs to our body. Some animals have more than 4 limbs. Some have more than, hundreds of limbs to their bodies. The limbs to any particular body, when we say limbs, they're all independent. They work, they function independently. They act as individual parts. However, at the same time, these limbs also can act in coordination. They can act in sequence. So, limbs of a body can perform an action independently. At the same time, all the limbs of the body can perform one function in coordination and in sequence. So that is the reason why Patanjali Maharshi called these 8 as limbs of yoga, 8 limbs, Ashtanga yoga, 8 limbs of yoga. Because a sadhaka, person who wants to practice yoga, he can either take up these 8 parts or 8 things individually and practice at any given point of time, or if he feels so, he can also take up in a sequence and practice one after the other, reach perfection to one and then move to the next one. Or he can consider all the 8 aspects at the same time and start practicing them and try to become perfect in each of them simultaneously. So this is a very interesting thing to know that. Either you can take up each one in a sequence and start in your life practicing them, perfecting them, and go to the next one. Or you can know about all the limbs. No, come back to the previous slide. Don't change the slide. Second slide, please. Yes, this one. You can either take up all together and practice and be perfect in all simultaneously in your life. So that's the reason why he called them as anga, limbs. Now, what are these 8 limbs of yoga? According to Patanjali, yama, which means self-restraint, niyama, which are fixed observances, asana, which talks about posture, pranayama, which is regulation of breath, pratyahara, abstraction from what we will know in future, dharana, which is concentration, dhyana, which is contemplation, and samadhi, which is trance, the ultimate stage. Here, in these 8 limbs, yama and niyama, the first 2 limbs, they deal with morals. They help to lay a moral foundation for a yogi, for a sadhaka, which deals with his regular life, aspects of his regular life, his normal life, until he is living here. Asana and pranayama, they deal with his body, how to make his body, keep his body healthy and in tune with his sadhana, to be a vehicle for his sadhana. And pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, all these 4, They deal with his emotions and mind, the emotional plane and the mind, the body of mind, which has to be regulated. So therefore, the life on this earth, to live a moral life, to have a healthy body, to keep your body in tune, to keep your emotions and mind in tune, in harmony, which prepares an yogi to reach that ultimate stage of samadhi where he can visualize the universal truth. So that is, so when we study all this, we feel it's a sequence, right? Of course, we first have to be morally correct. We need to lead a moral life and then keep a healthy body, practice yoga, pranayama, healthy body and mind, and then to regulate our emotions and our mind and our intellect in order to practice yoga or to become a yogi. So we feel it is a sequence. You can take up this in a sequence, or if you know everything, learn about everything, and then start practicing all the 8 parts simultaneously, that is also possible. You are practicing your moral values, you are trying to be moral, at the same time you're practicing meditation, you're learning asana, pranayama, that's fine. So that's the reason why Patanjali called them as Anga. Next slide. So here, today let us deal with the first Anga, that is Yama, self-restraint. What is Yama? In Sadhana Pada, shloka number 30, Patanjali Maharshi says, Ahimsa Satya Asteya Brahmacharya Aparigraha Yamaha. Meaning, what is Yama? Self-restraint comprise Ahimsa, which is non-violence, Satya, truth, Asteya, which exactly translates into abstention from theft, but we all can take up this word as honesty, Brahmacharya, continence, control over your passions and emotions, Aparigraha, which is non-possessiveness, non-accumulativeness. So these 5 comprise Yama, that is self-restraint, the first limb of yoga. Yama comprises of these 5 aspects, which is non-violence, truth, honesty, continence or self-control, and non-possessiveness. As I said before, Yama and Niyama, they're meant to provide an adequate moral foundation for yogic training. So unless you practice these moral values in your life, unless you have this strong moral foundation, it becomes very difficult in future to practice real yoga. So that's the reason why Yama and Niyama, they're called as the foundation stones of these 8-fold paths of yoga. Now you may ask, there are some yogis, there are various kinds of yogis who have got these powers, supernatural powers. We have seen them, right? But they lead a life which is totally immoral, which doesn't come under any of the moral values which we think is the right in this society. So I.K. Taimni, he mentions very clearly that, of course, there are some yogis who have bypassed these steps of first having a moral foundation and start practicing yoga, hatha yoga, and other things in order to attain, to gain those supernatural powers and become a yogi. And we all know how dangerous that can be. Having these supernatural powers without the foundation of moral values, it could be dangerous, it will be dangerous. And therefore, what Patanjali talking here is of the higher yoga, which is for enlightenment and consequent freedom from the illusions and limitations of the lower life. So this yoga, what Patanjali is talking about here, is for the enlightenment and a consequent freedom from the illusions of this normal life. So when you have to be enlightened, when you have to become free from the illusions of this normal life, unless you have this moral background, moral foundation, unless you learn how to be free from this world, it becomes very difficult in the later stages to reach to that stage of enlightenment. So for a yogi training, morality of a higher order is essential, and it is a transcendent morality based on higher laws of nature. So we all know that nature works by certain laws. Nature has its laws. And until and unless we are in harmony with those laws of nature, it is very difficult to go to any further extent in the spiritual path. To be a spiritual person, to reach certain stages in spirituality, one has to be in harmony with nature, with the laws of nature. So the laws of spiritual life, and there are laws of nature. And when laws of nature are respected and we keep ourselves in the harmony with the laws of nature, only then we can learn the laws of spiritual life. That's what Madam Besant says. So therefore, these moral values, they give a foundation for a yogi, and these transcendent morality, these are all based on the higher laws of nature. Next slide. So now let us deal with each and every aspect of yama. So first we know that there are 8 stages or 8 limbs of yoga. In that, the first one was yama. And in yama, we learned that there are 5 aspects. And among them, the first one is ahimsa. Ahimsa, which is easily translated as non-violence, we generally regard it as being harmlessness. We are just harmless. We don't harm to anyone. We don't harm to anything, any person. So being harmless itself is ahimsa, is what we generally think. But there's a lot of meaning for this word non-violence. It denotes an attitude and also our mode of behavior towards all living creatures. So what is our attitude towards other living things, other living creatures? Of course, we respect our family, our friends, to some extent, a fellow human being. But what is our attitude towards other animals, birds, plants, the entire nature as such? And what is a mode of behavior towards this living world which is surrounding us? So that also comes under this aspect of ahimsa. Ahimsa is not just not killing anything. It also includes our attitude, our behavior, the way we treat all other living creatures in this world. And ahimsa also deals with a recognition of underlying unity of life. So that is very important. Ahimsa means we recognize the underlying unity of life. We should recognize the same love that is embracing everything. That's what we pray. We should be able to recognize that shining light in every creature. We should be able to recognize that life in everything. And that love which is
3
binding
minutes
us.
for the 3 minutes left for first half, Pradeep bhai.
So therefore, ahimsa also involves keeping a strict watch over our mind, emotions, words, actions, and start regulating them in accordance with the ideas. Ahimsa also deals with cruelties and injustice through thoughts, words, and actions. Through thoughts, we can be cruel. We can cause injustice to something through our thoughts, to our words, and through our actions. And it also deals with having or leading a dynamic life of love. Love towards everything, not just humans, but every living creature, everything that is surrounding us. And ultimately, that love, the dynamic life of love, should lead to service. So that is the main goal of this aspect, ahimsa. The next slide, I will finish fast.
Yeah.
And the next aspect of yama, the second aspect, is satya. And it can be easily translated as truth, right? Telling a truth, never telling a lie, is the simple translation of this, simple contemplation of this aspect. But however, being truthful, avoiding telling a lie, abstention from falsehood, and also strict avoidance of exaggeration. So this aspect also deals with the habit of exaggeration. We exaggerate things. We may be telling it true, but sometimes we exaggerate, right? So strict avoidance of exaggeration and no pretense nature. There should not be any pretense. So this aspect of satya is not only dealing with telling truth and not telling lie, but it also deals with avoidance of exaggeration and avoidance of pretense. Why? Because truthfulness is absolute necessary for unfolding of buddhi or intuition. So we all know, as theosophists, buddhi or intuition, which is above our mind, when all these, the physical body, the emotional body, and the mind are in harmony and in tune and regulated, only then the plane of buddhi or the intuition is enlightened, or the consciousness unfolds in this stage. So therefore, being truthful is absolute necessary for the unfolding of buddhi or intuition, which leads us in our quest to find and experience that ultimate truth, what we are all searching. That is the second aspect, and I'll stop here. We will deal the remaining in the second part.
Okay, thank you, Pradeep ji, and welcome. Thank you, Pradeep ji, and a short introduction of Deepika ji. Deepika PATE is a member of Rajamundry Theosophical Lodge. Finished her graduation in public administration, is working as a recruitment manager in Kotak Mahindra Group. उन्होंने एजुकेशनल ट्रेनर की तरह आईआईटी स्टूडेंट और इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट को भी ट्रेन किया है, एक लेक्चरर की तरह कार्य किया है प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर हैं फ्यूचर जनरली में, और बहुत सारी स्पिरिचुअल मीटिंग में उन्होंने परफॉर्म भी किया है कुचिपुड़ी डांस और भरतनाट्यम के माध्यम से, और थियोसॉफी बाय आर्ट को बढ़ावा दिया है। सेंटेनरी सेलिब्रेशन ऑफ तेलुगु फेडरेशन में भी वे जुड़ी रही हैं। हम जानते हैं कि साईराम पाटे जो है हमारे मेंबर भी हैं और सेक्रेटरी हैं लॉज के, वो भी उन्हीं की पत्नी हैं, और वो भी रेगुलर त्रिवेणी में आते रहते हैं। उनके पिताजी जो थे अपने दीपिका जी के वी गोपाल कृष्णा सेक्रेटरी थे राजामुंदरी थियोसॉफिकल लॉज तेलुगु फेडरेशन के, लेक्चरर भी थे, और स्पिरिचुअलिटी उन्हें बचपन से ही अपने पेरेंट्स के द्वारा मिली। त्रिवेणी में भी वे काफ़ी सक्रिय हैं, और ये किताब या ये जो सब्जेक्ट अष्टांग योग का है उन्होंने लिया है, संकल्प 8 एपिसोड्स का। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। तो आप प्रेजेंटेशन खुद ही शेयर करेंगी दीपिका? आप प्रेजेंटेशन खुद ही शेयर करेंगी?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. Andarki namaskaram. Greetings from my side to everyone. Today I am telling this topic in Telugu version. Coming to the topic, Ashtanga yoga. పతంజలి రచించిన అష్టాంగ యోగ అంటే మన దేహము మరియు మనసు రెండిటి యొక్క సమతుల్యమైన కలయికతో ఒక ఏకత్వం రావాలి. దాని ద్వారా స్థిరమైన ఆరోగ్యకరమైన జీవనాన్ని కొనసాగించవచ్చు. దీన్ని ముఖ్యంగా అంశం చేసుకొని పతంజలి గారు ఒక 8 అంటే వర్గీకరణ చేసి ఈ అష్టాంగ యోగాన్ని మనకి అందించడం జరిగింది. ఇందులో సంస్కృతంలో అష్టాంగ అంటే అష్ట మీన్స్ అష్ట అంటే 8 మరియు అంగ అంటే అవయవాలు. కాబట్టి దీని అర్థం 8 అవయవాల మార్గం. మనం ఇప్పటి వరకు తెలుసుకున్న ధారణ, యమ మరియు నియమ ఇవన్నీ కూడా పతంజలి యొక్క వర్గీకరణాలు. వీటిలో మనకి ఇందులో 8 అవయవాలు ఏమనగా యమ, నియమ, ఆసన, ప్రాణాయామ, ప్రత్యాహార, ధారణ, ధ్యాన, సమదయో, అస్తవ, అంగని. ఇవన్నీ కూడా వీటిలో మనం తెలుసుకోబోయేది అంశం. ఈ కఠినమైన నిర్వచనం ఇందులో ముఖ్యంగా యోగ చిత్త వృత్తి నిరోధ అని చెప్పడం జరుగుతుంది. ఈ 3 యొక్క సంస్కృత పదాల అర్థం ఏమిటంటే యోగం అనేది మనసు యొక్క మార్పుల నిరోధం అని అనువదిస్తాము. అంటే మన మార్పులు ఎక్కడి నుంచి అంటే మన శరీరమే కాదు మనసు ద్వారా కూడా మనలోని మార్పు రావాలి. అప్పుడు ప్రతి మనిషి జీవన శైలి కూడా చాలా ఆరోగ్యకరంగా చాలా బాగుంటుంది అని చెప్పడం జరుగుతున్నది. ఇందులో ఈ 8 అవయవాల్లో యోగాకు తనకు నిర్వచనాన్ని ఈ కింద చెప్పినట్లుగా పతంజలి మనకు అందించారు. పతంజలి యొక్క యోగం యొక్క 8 రెట్లు మార్గం నైతికంగా క్రమశిక్షణతో కూడిన మరియు ఉద్దేశ్యపూర్వకమైన జీవనానికి సంబంధించిన విధంగా ఉంటుంది. అందులో మొదటిది యమాలు. Sorry for the interruption. Sorry.
Please go ahead.
యమాలు హిందూ మతంలో నైతిక నియమాలు మరియు నైతిక అవయవాలు. వీటన్నిటి కూడికే మన హిందూ మతంలో కూడా చెప్తారు. అలాగని మనం భావిస్తాము. యోగ సూత్రంలో 5 యమాలు ఉన్నాయి. ఇందులో మొదటిది అహింస, రెండవది సత్య, మూడవది ఆస్తేయ, నాలుగవది బ్రహ్మచర్య, ఐదవది అపరిగ్రహ. ఈ మొదటి భాగంలో మనం ఈ 5 గురించి చూస్తున్నామండి. అహింస అంటే ఇతరుల జీవుల పట్ల హాని కలిగించినది. అంటే మనం మన తోటి వారితో గాని మన తోటి వారితో గాని మన తోటి జీవరాశులతో గాని మనం ఎలా ప్రవర్తిస్తున్నాము, మనం ఎలాగా నడుచుకుంటున్నాము, వాళ్ళని మనం ఎలా వాళ్ళతో మనం ఎలా సఖ్యతగా ఉంటున్నాము అన్నది అహింసలోని భాగము. ఇందులో మనకి ముఖ్యంగా ఎటువంటి రూపమైన హింస జరిగినా కూడా వాటిని మనం మార్పు చేసుకుంటూ అహింసలోకి మనం మారుతూ రావాలి. దానినే అహింసా మార్గము అంటాము. దాన్ని మనం పరిపరి విధాలుగా మనము మార్పులు తెచ్చుకోవచ్చండి. చాలా పురోగతి సాధించవచ్చు అందులో. మరొకటిది సత్య అంటే మనం సత్యంగా నడుచుకోవడం, సత్యసంధతతో ఉండడం. మనం మొదట మనతో మనం సత్యంగా ఉండాలి, అంటే మనం నిజాయితీగా ఉండాలి. తర్వాత మన చుట్టుపక్కల వారు వాళ్ళందరితో, అంటే మనం చేసే పనులు వాటన్నిటితో కూడా మనం నిజాయితీగా సత్యంగా మనం ప్రవర్తించుకోగలిగితే దాన్ని చాలా బాగా మనం పురోగతి చెందవచ్చు అందులో కూడా. తర్వాతది ఆస్తేయ అంటే దొంగతనం చెయ్యనిది. దొంగతనం చెయ్యని విధానాన్ని ఆస్తేయ అంటాము. అందులో మనం ఎటువంటి హాని కలిగించకుండా మనం మన జీవనాన్ని కానీ ఇతరుల విషయాల్లో కానీ మనం మసులుకోగలిగితే దాన్ని అందులో ఆస్తే అంటే మనం పరుల విషయాలని మనది అని చెప్పుకోవడం కానీ, పరుల విషయంలో మనం వారి ఆలోచనలని వారి దృష్టిని మనం మళ్లించడం కానీ దాన్ని కూడా దొంగతనం చేయడంలోకి వస్తుంది. సో దాని వల్ల మనం ఏంటంటే అలాంటి పనులన్నిటిని, అలాంటి ఆలోచనలైనా దుర్పరిణామాలు కలిగించేవైనా వాటన్నిటిని మనం అధిగమిస్తూ మనలోని ఒక స్పష్టమైన మానసిక బలాన్ని పెంచుకుంటూ మనం ఇందులో కొనసాగాలి. ఇందులో ఇంకో విషయం మనకి బ్రహ్మచర్య అంటే పవిత్రత. మనకి
सर प्रदीप जी ने तो आगे रोक दिया था.
Hello, are you going ahead? You have to
Yes.
just say till part 1. Pradeep ji has said.
Sorry sir,
You
your
are
voice.
going ahead. You don't. Have you completed part 1 till Pradeep read? Which slide you are reading?
Should I stop here?
Well, I don't know, but the topic you just took has not come yet.
Should I explain it some more, sir?
Which slide you are on?
Sorry, your voice is not audible for me, sir. Can you please tell me?
My
again?
voice is not audible. Hello, I am asking.
Yeah,
You are on which slide?
Yeah.
Which slide you are in? Because I can't follow your language now. So you have to tell me next slide.
Okay,
next
okay.
slide.
I am in Yama subcategories, sir. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya.
Just a minute.
And I'm going to Brahmacharya. Madam told that it is in next part.
Yeah. So Ahimsa slide you have done
I-
and Satya slide you have done. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I did a brief explanation, sir. Can I explain more or can I stop
Yeah, you
here?
can explain Ahimsa and Satya, but the topic which you are saying is in another slide. You have to follow the slide, otherwise we will not know. Okay.
Actually,
So you stop.
only my
You can
my
stop here.
photography is able to me,
You can stop
so
here
I
and
couldn't follow.
tell me where you are from the next. When you come for part 2, You start from where you are left. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, thank you.
अर्चना जी, आपका स्वागत है. Will you follow the slides? Okay. I'll adjust. अर्चना जी ने बीएससी माइक्रोबायोलॉजी में किया है बॉम्बे से, और मास्टर्स किया है बड़ौदा से इन माइक्रोबायोलॉजी. सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर की तरह उन्होंने एक फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन में कार्य किया. स्कूल कॉलेज में और प्रोफेशनल लेवल पर गुजराती, हिंदी और इंग्लिश प्ले किए. भारतवर्ष में नाटक के साथ उन्होंने ट्रेवल किया, यूएस भी ट्रेवल किया, वहाँ भी बहुत शोज किए. और एफटीआई पुणे से उन्होंने एक कोर्स किया, और बहुत सारी डॉक्यूमेंट्री और कॉर्पोरेट फिल्म्स में उन्होंने एज एन असिस्टेंट काम किया है. ऑल्टरनेट मेडिसिन प्रैक्टिशनर, नेचुरोपैथी के भी हैं, और उन्होंने इसकी पढ़ाई की है. उन्होंने इसे गोत्री नेचुरोपैथी आश्रम वडोदरा से भी पढ़ा, श्री विनोबा जी के गाइडेंस में. और इस वक्त वो ज्योति लॉज की सेक्रेटरी हैं, साथ ही त्रिवेणी के वन ऑफ द पिलर हैं. तो गो अहेड विथ योर हिंदी वर्जन. थैंक यू.
आभार. आज हम बहुत ही सुंदर सी किताब करने वाले हैं, साइंस ऑफ योगा, IK तहमिनी के द्वारा लिखी हुई. और प्रदीप जी ने अभी पतंजलि अष्टांग योगा 8 भाग में डिवाइड करके हमको समझाएंगे. प्रदीप जी ने बहुत ही सुंदर और सरल तरीके से अष्टांग योग के बारे में बताया. स्लाइड सेकेंड सर प्लीज.
या
सेकेंड स्लाइड बताती हैं. जो साधाना पाद श्लोक 29वां है, जहां से शुरुआत होती है अष्टांग योग की. ऐसे उन्होंने समझाया, यम, नियम, आसन, प्राणायाम, प्रत्याहार, धारणा, ध्यान, समाधि, अस्तव, अंगनी. उसका अर्थ होता है आत्मसंयम, निश्चित पालन, आसन, श्वास का नियमन, अमूर्तता, एकाग्रता, चिंतन, समाधि. ये योग के 8 अंग हैं. योग की प्रणाली को पतंजलि जी ने एक भाग के रूप में आगे बढ़ाया, और इसके लिए इन्हें अष्टांग योग कहा जाता है. उपरोक्त सूत्र योग की प्रणाली के 8 घटक भागों को प्रतिबिंब करता है. अंग शब्द का उपयोग, अंग का अर्थ है, इसका तात्पर्य है कि उन्हें संबंधित लेकिन गैर अनुक्रमिक भागों में रूप में भी लिया जाना चाहिए. हालांकि पुस्तक में पतंजलि ने पढ़ने के तरीके से पता चलता है कि उनके बीच एक निश्चित अनुक्रमिक संबंध तो है. उच्च योग के व्यवस्थित अभ्यास में इसलिए उन्होंने चरणों के अर्थ में लेना होगा, और जिस क्रम में उन्हें दिया गया है उसका यथासंभव पालन करना होगा. हालांकि एक साधक इस क्रम का पालन करे बिना इनमें से किसी भी अंग का अभ्यास कर सकता है, और इन भागों को कुछ हद तक स्वतंत्र भी माना जा सकता है. तो प्रदीप जी ने समझाया कि 1 से 8 चले जाओ, या 8 से 1 चले जाओ, या सबको एक साथ तुम सीखना शुरू करो, या एक के एक में निपुण हो जाओ उसके बाद आगे बढ़े. वैसे उन्होंने समझाया कि ये 8 अंग जरूर है जो हमें मदद करते हैं, मगर कोई एक निश्चित क्रम नहीं है. मगर अगर क्रम में करेंगे तो तैमिनी जी का कहना है कि वो सुविधाजनक होगा. योग सूत्र में बताया गया है कि उच्च योग आत्मज्ञान और परिणाम स्वरूप निम्न जीवन के भ्रम और सीमाओं की मुक्ति के लिए है. इसीलिए योग के पहले 2 अंग, यम और नियम, का योग प्रशिक्षण के लिए पर्याप्त नैतिक आधार प्रदान करने के लिए बनाया गया है. यहाँ उन्होंने समझाया कि यम और नियम वो सब मानसिक और नैतिक तैयारी के लिए हैं. उसके बाद आता है आहार, प्राणायाम, वो अपने स्वस्थ शरीर के लिए है. प्रत्याहार, धारणा, समाधि हमारी आत्मिक तैयारी के लिए है. तो ये ऐसे लगता है कि ये तीनों क्रमानुसार हैं, मगर जरूरी नहीं है कि हमको एक क्रम में ही जाना है. और आगे तैमिनी जी का कहना है कि उच्च योग के मार्ग पर उच्च कोटि की नैतिकता बहुत आवश्यक है. इसीलिए शायद यम और नियम पर बहुत भार रखा गया, और ये प्रकृति के उच्च नियमों पर एक आधारित उत्कृष्ट नैतिकता है। अगर हम नैतिकता से तैयार होंगे तो हम उसके आगे बढ़ सकेंगे। स्लाइड 3 प्लीज। अब हम आते हैं जो अष्टांग योग का पहला यम था, वो यम के प्रकार में। इसमें उन्होंने कहा है, ये है साधना पद श्लोक नंबर 30। उसमें है अहिंसा, सत्य, अस्तेय, ब्रह्मचर्य, अपरिग्रह। तो ये 5 है। और उसका शाब्दिक अर्थ ये बनता है कि अहिंसा, सत्य, ये चोरी से परहेज, जो असत्य बोला है उसका हम ईमानदारी बोल सकते हैं, संयम और अपरिग्रह, ये इसमें सब शामिल है। यम और नियम योग प्रशिक्षण के लिए नैतिक आधार प्रदान करने के लिए हैं। यहाँ उन्होंने एक बहुत सुंदर उदाहरण भी दिया कि कोई योगी नेचुरल पावर्स के साथ आते हैं जो बहुत ही डेंजरस बन जाते हैं, तो पतंजलि ने इसलिए सजेस्ट किया है कि ये क्रमानुसार जाएंगे तो आपके एनलाइटनमेंट के लिए, आपकी जागृति के लिए है। और उन्होंने एक शब्द ट्रांसडेंटल मोरालिटी के लिए, चूंकि प्रकृति के जो नियम हैं वो एक प्रकार से प्रकृति में एक हार्मनी के साथ चलते हैं, सुनिश्चित करते हैं कि प्रकृति अच्छी से बनी रहे। तो ये उनका ये मानना है कि यम नियम पहले करें और आगे बढ़ें। अब हम आते हैं सर, स्लाइड 4 प्लीज। अहिंसा। अहिंसा का है पहले हार्म ने, इसकी शाब्दिक अर्थ में करके बताती हूँ जो स्लाइड में है। हानिहीनता, सभी जीवित प्राणियों के प्रति दृष्टिकोण, मन, वचन और कर्म से क्रूरता और अन्याय न हो, प्रेम का गतिशील जीवन, प्रेम अंततः सेवा की ओर ले जाना चाहिए। यहाँ उन्होंने अहिंसा के बारे में बताया कि अहिंसा यानी हिंसा से मुक्ति। अहिंसा वास्तव में जीवन की रेखांकित एकता की मान्यता के आधार पर सभी जीवित प्राणियों के प्रति दृष्टिकोण और व्यवहार के तरीके को दर्शाती है। एक साधक जो स्वयं को अहिंसा के अभ्यास में पारंगत करना चाहता है, वह अपने मन, भावनाओं, शब्द और कार्यों पर कड़ी निगरानी रखता है और उन्हें अपने आदर्श के अनुसार विनियमित करना शुरू कर देता है। धीरे धीरे वह जैसे अपने आदर्शों को व्यवहार में लाता है, उसके विचारों, कार्यों और शब्दों में शामिल क्रूरताएं और अन्याय धीरे धीरे स्वयं प्रकट होने लगते हैं, जो सही आचरण की ओर ले जाते हैं। और धीरे धीरे हानि रहितता का यह आदर्श स्वयं को भी जीवित प्राणियों के प्रति प्रेम के सकारात्मक और गतिशील जीवन में बदल देता है और अंततः इसका व्यावहारिक रूप सेवा में बदल जाता है। यहाँ प्रदीप जी ने बहुत अच्छे से समझाया कि जैसे जैसे हम अपने विचार, वाणी और काम पे ध्यान रखते हैं, तो हम ना सिर्फ हम अपने भाई बंधु या अपने उसके लिए, पर प्राणी मात्र के लिए भी एक शांतता से और अच्छे से हम उनके सकारात्मक रीत से उनके साथ व्यवहार करते हैं, और वो व्यवहार हमारे काम में इतना बढ़ जाता है, वो उनकी सेवा के प्रति हम जाते हैं। यहाँ प्रदीप जी रुके थे सत्य की शुरुआत से, तो मैं यहाँ रुकती हूँ, आगे पार्ट 2 में देखेंगे।
ओके, थैंक यू सो मच प्रदीप जी, प्लीज कंटिन्यू।
Thank you, Deepika ji, and am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So in this second part, after Ahimsa and Satya,
Satya, Archana, आपने लिया सत्य?
Satya is done. We
सत्या,
already done.
हाँ, मुझे लगा थोड़ा आधा रह गया, इसे मैंने कवर नहीं किया। क्या मैं कर लूँ अभी के बाद में करूँ?
आप बाद में कर सकते हो, तो मैं
ठीक है,
कंटिन्यू करूँगा। I finished with Satya. So part 2, we shall deal with Asteya. Yes. Now, the exact translation of this word Asteya, it means honesty or abstaining from stealing. So it looks very simple, right? Yeah, we don't, we all are educated, grown up. We don't do such silly things of stealing something, right? Do we? We don't do that anymore. We have learned these things in our schools. Your parents, everyone say you should not steal, you should not take things from others, which belongs to others without permission, and all these things. We know that, but in a deeper sense of what Patanjali means here, what IK Taimni ji is contemplating here, it involves various other things in a deeper sense, various layers of asteya. Of course, it is the first thing is abstaining from stealing, being honest at all circumstances. It also means avoiding misappropriation. We tend to appropriate things, or we tend to accumulate things which doesn't belong to us properly, in a proper manner. Maybe something which we haven't paid for, maybe something which is not reserved for us, maybe which is not for us, but maybe it is lying empty, and we feel I'm not causing harm to anyone by grabbing that seat, taking that opportunity, or entering into so and so compartment. I'm not causing harm, I'm not causing trouble to anyone. Why don't I take it up? It's empty. But what we forget is that doesn't belong to us in a proper way. We haven't paid for it. A very small example, very easy example is we buy a ticket for the train, which is an unreserved ticket. We take the compartment, unreserved compartment, and then we move around. We see in the reserved compartment there is a seat which is empty. We are not harming anyone. We are not causing trouble. We are behaving well, but we take up the seat and we sleep there. And that person who has reserved that seat, has not come, or maybe he will come in the next station or something, but we try to enjoy that. That is also dishonest. We haven't paid for it. It doesn't belong to us in a proper way. So that is misappropriation. And yogi cannot allow himself from taking or accumulating or appropriating anything which does not belong to him. And sometimes we claim credits for deeds which are not done by us, right? We have our juniors in our office, assistant directors in the film field, who do all the job day and night, losing their sleep and peace. And the managers and directors and the bosses who are above them, they take the credit of those work done by these juniors, and they say, we have done this, my team has done, and I have done this. And all that they were doing is to simply have a meeting and keep on wasting time in the name of meeting, right? These are all the things that's happening daily. Something has happened naturally, and then we say, oh, it's because of me. Once upon a time, I planted a tree here, and that has grown, and because of that, there is so much of shade here. We try to take credit for things which we haven't worked for, right? So, and another thing is privileges which do not properly belong to us. We try to enjoy privileges, unnecessary privileges, which we are not worthy of. We try to go out, we are driving, and something happened. A police officer asks you to pull off, and then say you are over speeding or something. And then you try to say, I know this person, I know that person, I have the number, I can call, and you may talk to him. And we try to avoid paying the fine for what we have done? That is taking privilege, which we are not worthy of. We have done a mistake and we have to pay a fine. That's honesty, right? So Asteya deals much deeply into so many layers of dishonesty that has subtly entered our lives. So these subtle tendencies of misappropriation, and what they cause is they lead to unnecessary baggage for a yogi to carry. So what is this baggage? These dishonest or the tendency of misappropriation, taking credit for things we have not done, taking the privilege which we are not worthy of. All these things, they are the unnecessary baggage that we are carrying in this spiritual journey. And therefore, a yogi should shed all this unnecessary baggage. He doesn't need them. And that will cause him to, struggle in this journey, in this spiritual journey. And then, next slide. The next aspect of yama is brahmacharya. Again here, brahmacharya in our Vedic terms is described as abstinence from sexual indulgence, having a family, abstinence from having a family or a wife or a husband, and then living a life without having a partner, without getting married. That is called brahmacharya. That's the easy translation. But is that all? No. Brahmacharya means freedom from craving for all kinds of sensual enjoyments. Not only the pleasure or enjoyment or the indulgence with your wife or husband, it deals with all kinds of sensual enjoyments. The craving for sensual enjoyments. And it deals with having independence from sensual pleasures to be happy and satisfied. And yogi should learn how to be happy and satisfied without depending on these sensual pleasures. And we think, what's wrong in indulging in these sensual pleasures when they're within the limit of social obligations to lead a happy and satisfied life? Of course, you are within the limit of social obligations. You're properly married, you're properly having a family legally. That's okay. But depending on those things, depending on that social obligations and the limits of the society, in order to be happy and satisfied, that is wrong. And yogi should not depend on any such things, any such sensual pleasures, no matter whether they are within the limits of the society or within the limits of social obligations. Irrespective of that, and yogi should learn to be independent of those sensual pleasures to be happy and satisfied. That is what brahmacharya means. And the trouble lies not in the feeling of the sensation, but in craving for repetition. What brahmacharya means is not to have a feeling of sensation, which is quite natural. But the craving to have it again and again, the craving for repetition, the craving to have more, there is the trouble. And brahmacharya deals with not to have that craving, not to have that artificial or a human push towards these sensation, which is against nature. And that is brahmacharya. And why these cause troubles for a yogi? These sensual cravings are the source of constant mental and emotional disturbances. And that's the reason why an yogi should practice brahmacharya, which is not to have the craving for repetition, not to have the craving of sensual enjoyment, and freedom and independence from these sensual pleasures to lead a happy and satisfied life. Yogi moves among all kinds of objects as anybody else. Just like any normal person, a yogi is also moving among all the objects. But his mind is not attached to objects which give pleasure, or repelled from objects which give pain. So, an yogi who is practicing this yoga, he is among all the objects just like anyone else. But he is in a state where he is neither happy from the objects which gives him pleasure, nor he is sad or repelled from the objects that gives him pain, objects or people, anything. He is therefore unaffected by the presence or absence of any kind of objects. Yogi is unaffected by either by the presence or absence by any kind of objects or things surrounding him. And this freedom from attachment brings an undefinable peace of mind and inner strength, beside which the enjoyments of senses appear intolerable. So this freedom from the attachment with all those things that bring about sensual pleasures or pain is nothing but brahmacharya, and which gives an yogi an undefinable peace of mind, the peace of mind which cannot be defined, which is very vast, and an inner strength to lead in this spiritual path. Next slide. And the last aspect of yama is aparigraha. Aparigraha is somewhat similar to the previous aspect, brahmacharya, but here it deals much with greediness. So aparigraha means absence of greediness, non-possessiveness, and having just enough things to maintain our body and soul until we live. Of course, we are born in this world and we have to live happily, satisfied, keep our body, maintain our soul, lead a life until we die. So in order to lead our life, to maintain this body and soul, we need certain things. And to have just enough things that are necessary to live, to maintain this body and soul, and not to be greedy, not to have the tendency to accumulate things, unnecessary things, in the name of comfort and enjoyment, not to buy unnecessary things, not to fall for such advertisements which are very tempting, which tells you that if you don't have this particular item in your house, it will lead you for so and so diseases or problems. After age of 40, you should not sleep on such and such mattress. You should have something called these fancy things with all their fancy names. Well, for generations, people have slept on various things till they die. And now this companies, private companies, they're teaching us after 40 what you're supposed to sleep on. Do we have to get our lessons from such people? And we believe them and we think that is a basic thing, that's a much necessary things to lead our life. And if we look at ourselves, those things which were called as which were termed as comfort have become basic needs nowadays. So 30 years before, things which were termed as extra comfort or pleasure for enjoyment, and now such things have become slowly basic things, basic needs to lead our life. And how did they become? This habit of consumerism, making people to want to buy, to make people buy and buy, and then earn more and more in order to buy more. And we have caught in this vicious circle of consumerism. So that is what aparigraha is talking about. A tendency to accumulate things in the name of comfort and enjoyment. And today we buy things telling it gives us comfort, and for next generation it becomes a basic need. And for how many generations we keep on accumulating things? And this lack of possessiveness towards own things and people, and whatever small things, small number of people we have, and we should not be over possessive. We should not feel dependence, over possessive things that this is, without these things I can't live. And that lack of possessiveness is aparigraha.
Pradeep ji,
And it also deals with the state of mind free from attachment. Just like we discussed in our previous aspect, brahmacharya, aparigraha is also a state of mind free from attachment. Next slide.
Yeah.
And in the next shloka, in the Sadhana Pada, shloka number 31, Patanjali Maharshi says, Jati Desa Kala Samaya Anavah Chinna Sarvabhauma Mahavratam. Jati Desa Kala Samaya Anavah Chinna Sarvabhauma Mahavratam. Which is this Mahavratam? These 5 vows, these 5 aspects of Yama that we talked till now, Patanjali is calling them as Mahavratam. And this Mahavratam is Sarvabhauma. It is universal at all circumstances. And this shloka means these 5 vows, Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, and Aparigraha, these 5 vows are not limited or conditioned by class, irrespective of which class you belong. You may be a high class or a low class, a middle class, a poor or a rich. It's not limited by the place. Desa means place. Kala means time. Samaya means occasion. You can't say, oh, I follow these things, these 5 vows at this particular occasion, but at a different occasion when I'm with my family, my wife, and these things, I can't follow this. No, it doesn't depend on occasion. So these 5 vows are not limited, not conditioned by who you are, which class you belong, where you are, which place you belong, and the time or the occasion. And this Mahavratam is to be observed at all circumstances. Yogi have no exceptions. No exceptions can be made under any circumstance in keeping these 5 vows. The universality of the vows leaves no loophole in which one may attempt to escape. The meaning of the shloka is there is no escape, and yogi cannot attempt to escape in any loophole from not following any of these. If at all, he has to practice it completely. And yogi follows the right path, knowing that there is no other path open to him. There are no shortcuts. There are no other paths in this journey, spiritual journey, this journey of yoga. And there is no other path, and this is the only path that has to be followed. The yogi has to understand that first. So therefore, we talked about the first limb of yoga, that is yama, today in detail, which consists of these 5 aspects: ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, and aparigraha. And in the following classes, we will talk about each limb in detail. And there are certain commentaries. There are shlokas which are just commentaries on group of limbs. And we will also deal with those shlokas.
Sure.
It gives us a beautiful experience. We may be knowing things. These are all the things which are basic things. We have learned these things in our schools, from our elders, from various stories, Mahabharata, Ramayana, and all these things. We have learned them. But to read them again in the theosophical light, in the language of Taimni's words, that is a beautiful experience.
Yes.
Therefore, I stop here and I leave for the translators.
Thank you. Welcome, Deepika ji. Or please start from very, very left. Kindly guide me. Which slide was that?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Please play the slide. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya.
Okay.
Yama starting. I will
Okay.
just add on some points.
You want to start with Satya?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Ahimsa, actually Ahimsa.
Okay. Go ahead. I'll just share.
Thank you.
And then when you go to the next slide, please prompt me.
Yeah, okay, sir. Sure.
Thank you.
మనం ఇది వరకు చెప్పుకున్నట్లుగా ఈ యమాలు అనేవి ఒక 5 భాగాలుగా విభజించబడ్డాయి. వీటిని ఏమంటామంటే ఈ నియమాలు నైతిక నియమాలు, లేదంటే వాటిని సరైన జీవనం అని కూడా మనం పిలుస్తాం. ఇవి ఆ విధంగా వర్గాలుగా చెప్పబడతాయి. అవి నిజంగా మన మొత్తం అభ్యాసానికి పునాది. అలాగే మనం ఈ మార్గంలో అభివృద్ధి చెందుతున్నప్పుడు ఈ నైతిక విలువలను మనం గౌరవించడం, అంటే మన ప్రతి చర్యలో వీటిని శ్రద్ధగా వహిస్తూ అందులో మరింత మన స్థితిని పెంచుకుంటూ వెళ్ళాలి. ఈ యమలో మనం అహింస అంటే ఆలోచన, మాట మరియు పని ద్వారా మనం చేసే హాని కలిగించడం, మనం ఇతర జీవులకి కానీ ఇతర మన మనుషులకి కానీ మనం హాని కలిగించడం అన్నది మనం మానుకోవాలి. వాటిని ఏ విధంగా మనం కలిగిస్తున్నామో, వాటి ప్రతిబింబం ఎలా ఉంటుంది, వాటి ద్వారా ఎంత చెడు జరుగుతుంది అన్నది మనం ఒకసారి పరిశీలన చేసుకుంటే కనుక మనం ఎంతవరకు దానిని మెరుగుపరుచుకోవచ్చు, తగ్గించుకోవచ్చు అన్నది కూడా మనకి తెలుస్తుంది. ప్రతి ఒక్కరు తర్వాత సత్యాన్ని కూడా మనం ఎలా పాటించాలో ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి తెలుసు, కానీ అది పాటించడంలో మాత్రమే నిర్లక్ష్యంగా ఉంటాము. మనం ఎటువంటి విషయాన్ని ఎగ్జాంపుల్ గా మనం చెప్పుకున్నా కూడా ప్రతి చిన్న విషయం నుంచి పెద్ద విషయం వరకు కూడా అందరికీ ఏది మంచిది అన్నది మాత్రం అందరికీ తెలుసు. కానీ చేసే పనిలోని ఆలోచన తీరు, ఆ పరిస్థితుల యొక్క ప్రభావం మనపై మనం ఎక్కువగా ఉంచుకొని అసలు మార్గాన్ని తప్పుతూ ఉంటాం. కాబట్టి వాటిని కూడా ఈ వీటి ద్వారా, అంటే ఈ మార్గాల ద్వారా మనం వాటిపై ఒక నిలకడ బలమైన ఆలోచన శక్తిని, అలాగే దృఢమైన సంకల్పాన్ని పెంచుకోవచ్చు అని మనం చెప్తున్నాం. ఇప్పుడు మనం సార్ ప్లీజ్ చేంజ్ టు ఆస్తేయ, సారీ బ్రహ్మచర్య సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. బ్రహ్మచర్య అంటే ప్రతి ఒక్కరూ ఈ బ్రహ్మచర్య కావాలి అని మన వేదాల్లో అన్నిటిలో కూడా చెప్పడం జరుగుతుంది. ముఖ్యంగా ఈ యోగ శాస్త్రంలో చెప్పారు. అది జీవన శైలి పరంగా మాత్రమే కానవసరం లేదు, అంతర్ముఖంగా బ్రహ్మచర్యం కావాలి. అంటే మనం ప్రతి దానితోటి మనం అనుసంధానమై ఉంటాం, కానీ మన అంతర్గతంగా మాత్రం మనం వాటి బ్రహ్మచర్యంలో ఉండాలి. అంటే పెళ్లి చేసుకోకూడదు అలాంటి దాన్ని బ్రహ్మచర్యమే కాదండి, అలాగే అనరు. పెళ్లి చేసుకొని జీవనం మనం గడుపుతున్నా కూడా మనం ప్రతి అంటే మన భర్త అవ్వచ్చు, భార్య అవ్వచ్చు, మన కుటుంబంతో కలిసి బ్రతుకుతూనే మనం బ్రహ్మచర్యాన్ని మన లోపల నుంచి మనం పాటించవచ్చు. అది కేవలం సహకరించే ఒక అంశం మాత్రమే. ఒక బ్రహ్మచర్యంగా ఉండడంలో అది అది సాధ్యమయ్యే పనే. ఎందుకంటే స్వతహాగా మీరు ఆనందంగా ఉంటాము, మనం ఆనందంగా ఉంటాము. మీరు భార్య లేదంటే భర్త, వీరితో మనం చాలా సమయాన్ని గడుపుతాము. చాలా రకాలైన పరిస్థితుల్ని మనం చూస్తూ ఉంటాము. అది అలానే ఉంటూ అలాగే ఈ ప్రపంచంలో మొత్తం బ్రహ్మచర్యంగా ఉండాలి అనే అంశాన్ని ప్రతి ఒక్కరూ కూడా స్వతహాగా ఆనందంగా ఉంటూ దీన్ని మనం చేస్తూ ఉండొచ్చు. ఇద్దరు వ్యక్తులు ఒక జంటగా అయితే అది తమ ఆనందాన్ని పంచుకోవడమే తప్ప ఒకరి నుంచి ఒకరి ఆనందాన్ని జురు చేసుకోవడం మాత్రం కాదు. కేవలం తమ జీవితంలో చరమార్గం సాక్షాత్కారం పొందాలి ఎవరైనా కోరుకున్నట్లయితే దాన్ని ఎన్నో విధాలుగా చేయొచ్చు. మీకు ఒక తారీఖున నిర్ణయించుకోగలరు మీరు దీన్ని. కానీ మీరు దీన్ని పూర్తిగా తెలుసుకోవాలి, అన్వేషించాలి అనుకుంటే కనుక ఎంతో మందికి ఇది సాధ్యపడేలాగా ఉంటుంది. అప్పుడు ఈ బ్రహ్మచర్యం అనేది ప్రముఖమైనది అవుతుంది. మనం ఎప్పుడైతే దాన్ని మనసులో నుంచి మనం దాన్ని తీసుకుంటామో, ఆలోచనని బలంగా చెయ్యాలి అని కోరుకుంటామో, అప్పుడు మనకి ఎటువంటి కోరికలనైనా మనం నియంత్రించుకోగలం. అంటే అది మనం ఒక మనిషితో దాన్ని రిలేషన్ అవ్వచ్చు, లేదంటే ఒక వస్తువుతో, ఒక ప్రకృతితో, ఎటువంటివైనా మనం వాటిని మనం నియంత్రించుకోవచ్చు. నెక్స్ట్ సార్ ప్లీజ్ చేంజ్ టు నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్. అలాగే ఈ బ్రహ్మచర్యాన్ని మనం లాస్ట్ పాయింట్, అప్పుడు బ్రహ్మచర్యం అనేది ప్రముఖమైనది అవుతుంది. మనం ఎప్పుడైతే ఆ నియంత్రణని మనం చేసుకుంటూ మన తరాలకు కూడా చెప్పగలుగుతామో, భవిష్యత్తులో కూడా అది మనం పెట్టే పెట్టుబడిగా ఉంటుంది. దాని యొక్క జ్ఞానాన్ని నియంత్రించుకునే పద్ధతుల్ని మనం ప్రోత్సహించాలి. ఈ ఆధ్యాత్మికత వీటి రూపంలో స్వచ్ఛంగా మనం ఆలోచన చేయడం, మరో తరానికి ఆ ఆలోచనల్ని పంచివ్వడం అన్నది చాలా ముఖ్యమైనది. ఇప్పుడు మనం అపరిగ్రహం చూద్దామండి. ఇందులో లాస్ట్ అంశం, చివరి అంశాన్ని చూద్దాం. మన భారతీయ తత్వశాస్త్రం మరియు యోగాలో అపరిగ్రహం అనేది ఒక స్వాధీనత లేని, అంటే దురాశ మరియు అటాచ్మెంట్ అనే లేని భావన. ఇది పతంజలి 8 అవయవాల్లో మనకి తీర్చిదిద్దారు. అందులో ఇది లాస్ట్ దండి మనకి. ఈ పదం అపరిగ్రహ, అంటే మన పరి అంటే అన్ని వైపులా, మరియు గ్రహ అంటే ఒకటి కంటే ఎక్కువ అవసరాలను తీసుకోకపోవడం అని మనం చెప్పుకోవడం జరుగుతుంది. అపరిగ్రహం అనేది ఒక వ్యక్తి జీవితంలో ఒక నిర్దిష్ట దశలో అవసరమైన వాటిని మాత్రమే కలిగి ఉండాలనే భావన. ఇది ఆత్మ నిగ్రహం యొక్క ప్రతిరూపం అని చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. ఇది భౌతిక లాభం, అంటే ప్రజల నుంచి కానీ, పక్క జీవుల నుంచి, ఒక వస్తువు నుంచి, ఒక పని నుంచి మనం ఆశించడం లాంటివి జరుగుతూ ఉంటాయి. అవన్నీ ఏమవుతాయంటే మనకి నాశనానికి మాత్రమే గురి చేస్తాయి, లేదంటే బాధించడం, ఒక రకమైన కోరిక, దురాశ, వీటన్నిటి వల్ల మనకి నాశనం లేదంటే హింస ఇలాంటివి మాత్రమే జరుగుతూ ఉంటాయి. కాబట్టి వాటిపై మనం నిగ్రహం పెంచుకోవాలి. వాటిని మనం లోపల నుంచి అంటే మనసు శరీరాన్ని రెండింటిని ఏకం చేసి మనం వాటి మార్పును మనంలో తీసుకురాగలిగితే చాలా మంచి జీవన శైలిని మనము సాగించవచ్చు. అలాగే మన చుట్టుపక్కల వాళ్ళకి కూడా మనం అది ఇవ్వచ్చు. ఇందులో ముఖ్యమైనది ఒక యోగిలాగా మారడం ఎలాగా అంటే యోగి తను సహజంగా యోగ మార్గానికి ఆటంకం కలిగించే విధాలన్నిటిని వదులుకోవడం అని మనం అనుకుంటూ ఉంటాము. ఇందాక చెప్పుకున్నట్లు బ్రహ్మచర్య, అపరిగ్రహ వీటిలోని ముఖ్యమైన అంశాలని మనం తెలుసుకొని మనం పాటించగలిగితే మాత్రం మనం మన జీవన శైలితో పాటు అనుసంధానం అవుతూనే వాటితో అనుబంధం పెంచుకుంటూనే మనం ఒక యోగిలాగా మారచ్చండి. అలా చేయడం వల్ల ఇంద్రియాలు మరియు శారీరక అవసరాలపై మనకి ఒక శక్తి పెరుగుతుంది. ఎలా అంటే వాటిని ఒక ఆలోచనని కానీ పనిని కానీ చేయగలిగే శక్తి పెరుగుతుంది. సార్ ప్లీజ్ టర్న్ టు లాస్ట్ స్లైడ్.
ఓకే.
ఇందులో మనకి ఆఖరిగా చెప్పుకునేది పతంజలి గారు ఒక మాట ఇందులో చెప్పారు. జాతి దేశ కాల సమయ సారీ
ప్లీజ్ గో అహెడ్. నథింగ్.
ఓకే సార్. ఓకే. సార్వభౌమ మహావ్రతం. ఓకే అండి. ఇందులో చెప్పుకున్నట్లుగా ఈ 5 అన్నవి చాలా మనకి ఇలా చెప్పుకున్న దాంట్లో కూడా అయిపోదు. ఇందులో చాలా మనం ఒకరి ఆలోచనలతో మనం ఒకరు చాలా ఎనాలిసిస్ చేసుకోవాలి. అది ప్రతి విషయంలో మన జీవనంలో ప్రతి విషయం అంటే ఒక స్థానము, ఒక సమయము, ఒక సందర్భము వీటన్నిటిలోనే మనం ఇవన్నీ చూస్తాము. వీటన్నిటిని కూడా మనం చాలా క్షుణ్ణంగా పరిశీలించుకుంటూ వీటిని అలవర్చుకుంటే కనుక ఆ శైలిని మనం కూడా అలవర్చుకోవచ్చు మన జీవనంలో. ఇందులో మనం ఇంద్రియ నిగ్రహం మరియు శారీరక అవసరాలపై ఆధారపడకుండా అంటే మనకి చాలా ఎక్కువగా మనం ఖర్చు చేయడం కానీ లేదంటే ఒకరితో ఒకరు పోల్చుకొని ఉన్నదానికంటే ఎక్కువ జీవించాలి, లేదంటే మనం ఇంకా ఏమైనా ఎవరికి తక్కువ కాదు, లేదంటే ఇంకొకరికి ఇబ్బంది కలిగించడాలు అలాంటివన్నీ చేస్తూ ఉంటాము. మన ఆలోచనలని మనమే పాడు చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్తాం. అసలు విషయం ఏంటంటే వాటన్నిటిపై కూడా మనం ఒకసారి దృష్టి సాధించి వీటిని మనం అభ్యసించాలి. అలాగే ఈ వీటిలో యోగిని ఒక విముక్తి అనేది మనం అన్నిటిలోనే మనం ఇచ్చుకోవాలి. అప్పుడు మనం ఈ యోగ మార్గాన్ని పాటిస్తున్నట్లు జరుగుతుంది. ఈ లోతైన ఇప్పుడు చెప్పుకున్న మనం అన్ని అంశాల్లో లోతైన స్థాయిని చేరుకోవాలి అంటే మనం మన స్వీయ అంగీకారాన్ని అనుభవాన్ని పెంచుకుంటూ పోవాలండి. అది అసలైన విషయం. ఈ అపరిగ్రహ అనేది వేరొకరి ఉన్నట్లుగా ఒక భంగిమను పరిపూర్ణ చేయాలి. కోరికలు పరంగా సాధన పరంగా మనం శారీరకంగా మనం పెంచుకోగలిగితే మాత్రం మొదట మనలో ఏముందో మనం అది అంగీకరించుకోవాలి. అలాగే దాన్ని పెంపొందించుకోవడానికి ఒక మంచి మార్గంలో మనం అభ్యసించాలి. ఇదే ఆఖరిగా చెప్పుకుంటున్నాము ఇందులో ఈ భాగానికి. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఆల్. Sir, actually your mic is in mute. Taral sir.
I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you so much. You finished in time. And Archana, please go ahead.
Sir, 5th slide, please. Satya.
Yeah, I will just put the slide on. Yeah, go ahead.
तो सत्य पाठ से शुरू करते हैं। ये स्लाइड जो कह रही है सत्य यानी सच्चा होना, झूठ से परहेज, अतिशयोक्ति से सख्त परहेज, दिखावा का स्वभाव नहीं। दूसरा पॉइंट, बुद्धि या अंतर्ज्ञान को प्रकट करने के लिए सत्यता अत्यंत आवश्यक है, जो हमें परम सत्य को खोजने और अनुभव करने की हमारी खोज में ले जाती है। न इस दूसरे नैतिक गुण का अर्थ न केवल सच्चा होना या न झूठ से दूर रहना है, बल्कि ये सभी अतिशयोक्ति, दिखावा, गोलमाल बातें और अन्य समान दोषों के सख्ती से बचने पर भी लागू होता है। असत्य अपने विभिन्न रूपों में हमारे जीवन में सभी प्रकार की अनावश्यक जटिलताएं पैदा करता है, और इसीलिए ये मन अशांति का एक निरंतर स्रोत बन जाता है। बुद्धि या अंतर्ज्ञान के प्रकटीकरण के लिए सत्यता नितांत आवश्यक है। इसीलिए सत्य यौगिक जीवन का मार्गदर्शक प्रकाश है। परम वास्तविकता यानी रियलिटी प्रेम और सत्य के महान मौलिक नियमों के माध्यम से व्यक्त की जाती है। इसीलिए एक योगी का जीवन जो इस वास्तविकता रियलिटी की खोज कर रहा है, उसे प्रकृति के इन बुनियादी नियमों के सख्ती से अनुरूप होना चाहिए। सत्य निष्ठा योगी को प्रकृति के सत्य के मौलिक नियमों के अनुरूप बनाए रखती है। अब आते हैं अस्तेय। सर नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। ये स्लाइड कहती है अस्तेय यानी चोरी से विरत रहना, ईमानदारी कह सकते हैं, गबन से भी बचना, अनैतिक तरीकों से चीजों का संग्रह करना, किसी ऐसी चीज को हथिया लेना जो स्वयं की नहीं है, स्वयं द्वारा न किए गए कार्यों का श्रेय लेना आदि। दुरुपयोग की ये सूक्ष्म प्रवृत्तियां एक योगी के लिए अनावश्यक बोझ का कारण बनती हैं। अब ये स्लाइड में इन्होंने कहा है कि अस्तेय का अर्थ न केवल किसी भौतिक की चोरी करना, लेकिन सभी प्रकार से दुरुपयोग करना रहना है। तो उनका उन्होंने प्रदीप जी ने बहुत ही सुंदर सा एग्जाम्पल दिया ट्रेन की टिकट का, के अनरिजर्व डब्बे में घुस गए, मगर देखा आपने कि रिजर्व में एक सीट खाली है, तो वहां जाके लेट गए। तुमने ऐसे किसी को तकलीफ तो नहीं हो, मगर जो बंदा आने वाला था या उसकी टिकट थी, गलत तो तुमने किया है ना, आपकी अनरिजर्व टिकट थी, आपको रिजर्व डब्बे में नहीं जाना था। बहुत सुंदर एग्जाम्पल से उन्होंने किया कि ये भले चोरी नहीं की, मगर आपने गलत तो काम किया है। अब आगे बोलते हैं कि एक योगी स्वयं को ऐसी किसी भी चीज को लेने या संचय करने या विनियोजित करने की अनुमति नहीं दे सकता जो उसकी उचित रूप से संबंधित नहीं है, न केवल धन या सामान के रूप में, बल्कि उन चीजों का श्रेय लेने के लिए भी कुछ व्यवहार रूप में जो उसने नहीं किए। यहाँ भी प्रदीप जी ने एक बहुत ही सुंदर एग्जाम्पल दिया। शायद ये एग्जाम्पल के कारण जो कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बातें आसानी से समझ में आती है। उन्होंने शूटिंग का कहा कि जैसे शूटिंग में कोई असिस्टेंट डायरेक्टर आइडिया देता है, मगर डायरेक्टर बोलता है ये मैंने किया है, तो भैया तुमने नहीं किया है। तो ये चीज भी अस्तेय है, जो तुमने नहीं किया तुम नहीं कह सकते कि ये मैंने किया है, उसका आप कुछ भी उसका कारण नहीं ले सकते हैं। और आगे वो कहते हैं कि यह विशेष अधिकार जो उचित रूप से उसके नहीं है। यहाँ भी उन्होंने एक बहुत अच्छा सा एग्जाम्पल देके समझाया कि आपने कार स्पीडिंग करके जा रहे हैं, गाड़ी पुलिस ने रोकी है और पुलिस बोल रहा है कि आप पैसे दे दो, तो आप बोलते नहीं नहीं आप उनको जानते हो उनके जानते हो, ये भी आपने गलत किया, आपको तो उसका चालान कटता और उसको पैसे देना था। ये सारी चीजें ये एक उदाहरण के तौर से सिखाने के अस्तेय समझाते हैं कि जो चीज हमारी नहीं है वो हमने से जो हमने नहीं की वो भी अस्तेय है, और उसका क्लेम करना तो बिल्कुल अस्तेय है। केवल जब हम गलत विनियोग की इस प्रवृत्ति को खत्म करने में सफल हो जाते हैं, तो हम बेईमानी के सूक्ष्म रूपों की खोज करना शुरू कर देते हैं कि हम कहाँ कहाँ गलत कर रहे हैं, जो हमारे जीवन में इतनी बुनी हुई है कि इसके बारे में शायद हम जानते भी नहीं है। तो कहते हैं कि जो योगी उच्च योग के मार्ग पर चलने का इरादा रखता है, वह अवांछित और बेकार प्रवृत्तियों का बोझ नहीं उठा सकता। उन्होंने बोला शेडिंग द बैगेज, बहुत सुंदर से उन्होंने समझाया। सर नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। ब्रह्मचर्य। अब ये स्लाइड कहती है सभी प्रकार के कामुक सुखों की लालसा से मुक्ति, खुश और संतुष्ट रहने के लिए कामुक सुखों से मुक्ति। कामुक लालसाएं निरंतर मानसिक और भावनात्मक अशांति का स्रोत है। परेशानी अनुभूति को महसूस करने में नहीं बल्कि दोहराव की लालसा में है। यहाँ उन्होंने व्यापक रूप में ब्रह्मचर्य का अर्थ न केवल यौन भोग से परहेज है, लेकिन बल्कि सभी प्रकार के कामुक आनंद की लालसा से मुक्ति के संदर्भ में है। खुश और संतुष्ट रहने के लिए कामुक सुखों पर निर्भरता हमारे जीवन का बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा है और वो सामाजिक दायित्वों की तरह इस स्वाभाविक और दोष रहित भी माना जाता है। हालांकि एक योगी के लिए यह निर्दोष भोग निरंतर मानसिक और भावनात्मक अशांति की संभावना भी साथ रखता है। कोई भी व्यक्ति जो खुद को इंद्रियों की वस्तुओं से आकर्षित होने की अनुमति देता है, वह उन चिंताओं से मुक्त होने की उम्मीद नहीं कर सकता। जो इंद्रियों से आसक्त है, वो चिंताओं से मुक्त होने की उम्मीद कम ही रखे तो अच्छा है। जो एक सांसारिक व्यक्ति के जीवन की विशेषता है, हम संसार में इसी में सब डूबे हुए हैं। समस्या न केवल संवेदना की अनुभूति में निहित है, जो काफी स्वाभाविक और हानि रहित है, बल्कि उस अनुभव की पुनरावृत्ति बार बार लगातार की लालसा, उन्होंने कहा क्रेविंग शब्द यूज किया, क्रेविंग में भी है, जिसमें ये आनंददायक संवेदनाएं शामिल होती हैं। योग किसी भी अन्य व्यक्ति की तरह सभी प्रकार की वस्तुओं, योगी जो होता है वो किसी भी अन्य व्यक्ति की तरह सभी प्रकार की वस्तुओं के बीच में विचरण तो करता है, लेकिन उसका मन उन वस्तुओं से जुड़ता नहीं जो आनंद देती है या दुख देती है। जो आनंद देती है उससे भी वो विचलित नहीं होता और जो दर्द देती है उससे वो विमुख भी नहीं होता। वो योगी है। इसीलिए वह विभिन्न प्रकार की वस्तुओं की उपस्थिति या अनुपस्थिति से योगी अप्रभावित रहता है। एक योगी के लिए आसक्ति से ये मुक्ति मन और आंतरिक शक्ति का एक अपरिभाषित अंश लेकर आती है, जिसके बिना इंद्रियों का आनंद असंनिलिक है। ये कहते हैं ये ब्रह्मचर्य है कि हर एक इंद्रियों के आनंद से आप अपरे रहें। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज सर। अपरिग्रह। अब ये स्लाइड कहती है अपरिग्रह यानी लोलुपता का अभाव। जब तक हम जीवित हैं तब तक हमारे शरीर और आत्मा को बना के लिए पर्याप्त चीजें होना बहुत जरूरी है। आराम और आनंद बढ़ाने वाली चीजों को जमा करने की प्रवृत्ति को त्यागना अपरिग्रह कहा सकता है। अपनी चीजों और लोगों के प्रति स्वामित्व की कमी भी अपरिग्रह है। आसक्ति से मुक्त मन की स्थिति भी अपरिग्रह है। अपरिग्रह का अर्थ है लोलुपता या सांसारिक वस्तुओं का कोई भी मोह न होना। सांसारिक वस्तुओं को संग्रहित करने की प्रवृत्ति इतनी प्रबल है कि इससे मानव जीवन लगभग एक बुनियादी प्रवृत्ति मान लगता है। उन्होंने यहाँ एक बहुत सुंदर वापस एक बहुत सुंदर उदाहरण दिया गद्दे के बारे में। उन्होंने कहा कि आजकल ये कंज्यूमरिज्म के लिए बोलते हैं ये गद्दे पे सोए, वो गद्दे पे सोइए, इस पे मत सोइए, उस पे मत सोइए, इससे ही योग। अपने पुरखे सोते थे पुराने गद्दों पे, आराम से सोते थे, अच्छे से कटती थी, ये इस पे ये काम करिए। और उन्होंने बोला कंज्यूमरिज्म एक शब्द यूज किया कि उस वक्त हमारी जो बुनियादी कंफर्ट्स थी अब वो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन के लिए बेसिक नीड्स बन गई है। जैसे वो हमारी कंज्यूमरिज्म के कारण हमारे चीजें संग्रहित करने जा रहे हैं हम, जो पहले बहुत आसानी से नहीं होता था, हम और कम में भी अच्छे से जीते थे। आगे वो कहते हैं जब तक हम इस संसार में रहते हैं हम अपने शरीर के भरण पोषण के लिए कुछ भी वस्तुओं की आवश्यकता होती है, लेकिन जो चीजें शरीर और आत्मा को एक साथ रखने के लिए आवश्यक नहीं है और केवल हमारे आराम और आनंद बढ़ाने के लिए है, उनसे जितना संभव हो सके बचा जाना चाहिए। बहुत ही बड़ा प्रोफाउंड सेंटेंस है ये। और योगी को अपनी संपत्ति और आवश्यकताओं को कम से कम कर देना चाहिए और अपने जीवन से उन सभी अनावश्यक संचयों और गतिविधियों को समाप्त कर देना चाहिए जो उसकी ऊर्जा को नष्ट कर देती हैं और उसका अधिकांश समय बर्बाद कर देती हैं। वे इस दुनिया में अपने शरीर और आत्मा को बनाए रखने वाली न्यूनतम चीजों से संतुष्ट रहता है। यहाँ मुझे एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल याद है। आजकल जापान में मिनिमलिज्म बहुत चल रहा है और यंगस्टर्स उस तरफ जा रहे हैं जो कंज्यूमरिज्म से बिल्कुल ही अलग सतह पे जाता है। यहाँ मुझे उसकी याद आ गई। एक योगी को अपने पास मौजूद चीजों के प्रति अपने दृष्टिकोण पर भी ध्यान देना चाहिए। शायद कुछ चीजें हैं जो योगी के पास हैं, लेकिन उस पर स्वामित्व की वृत्ति से उसे बचना चाहिए। बहुत ही और ये भी स्पष्ट रूप से समझा जाना चाहिए कि इस गुण को विकसित करने के लिए आवश्यकता मुख्य रूप से मन की ऐसी स्थिति सुनिश्चित करने में निहित है जो आसक्ति से मुक्त हो। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। ये श्लोक कहता है, श्लोक नंबर 31, जाति देश काल समय अनवंचिना सर्वभौम महाव्रतम। अर्थात ये 5 व्रत वर्ग, स्थान, समय या अवसर द्वारा सीमित या शर्तबद्ध नहीं है और ये महावर्तनम हर परिस्थिति में मनाया जाना चाहिए। इन 5 प्रतिक्रियाओं को निभाने में किसी भी परिस्थिति में कोई अपवाद नहीं किया जा सकता। कौन सी ये 5 वो हमने आगे देखा। इन प्रतिक्रियाओं की सार्वभौमिकता कोई रास्ता नहीं छोड़ती जिससे कोई बचने का प्रयास कर सके। इसीलिए ये विभिन्न स्थितियों में क्या करना है ये तय करने की कठिनाई को पूरी तरह से समाप्त कर देता है। एक योगी बिना किसी भी हिचकिचाहट से सही मार्ग का अनुसरण कर सकता है, ये जानते हुए कि उसके लिए कोई अन्य मार्ग खुला नहीं है। तो यहाँ बहुत ही सुंदर तरीके से यम का हमने अष्टयों अंग का पहला यम का संक्षिप्त में इसका विवरण किया। आगे जैसे जैसे प्रदीप भाई तैयार होंगे आगे हम बढ़ेंगे। अस्तु, थैंक यू।
वाह वाह वाह, बहुत बढ़िया रहा, तीनों लोगों ने अच्छे से किया। और प्रदीप भाई स्लाइड्स भेजी आपने, बहुत अच्छा किया। इस वक्त मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि अगर स्पीकर्स में से किसी को कुछ शेयर करना हो तो करे, वरना हमारे जितने भी लोग हैं उसमें से कोई बोलना चाहेगा तो उनको हम प्राथमिकता देंगे। यस प्रदीप भाई, यू वांट टू ऐड समथिंग? दीपिका,
There's nothing much to add, but in the end, I was telling something, but I stopped abruptly. That these things, when we see them superficially, they may sound very common. That, of course, ahimsa, satya, honesty, and non-greediness, brahmacharya, these are all the words we have been listening from ages, and we know their meaning and we feel it's very simple. But when we look ourselves, when we go deep into the layers of our own mind, our own emotions, we find them in such deepest, subtle layers of ourselves. Like I said, being honest is honest. Yes, we all are honest. We don't take bribes in our office. And if you are a government employee, you work on your salary, fine, everything's good. But some of your client or some person who come to you for a government job, you did his work, you passed his file very fast, good, and then he invited for his house, and he said, "Oh, this is a return gift. This is a gift from myself for visiting my house or something," and he give you an expensive thing. Then you think yourself, well, he is not giving me a bribe. He didn't give me a bribe in my office, and he invited me to his house for Lakshmi Puja or something. And it's very common that in such functions to give a return gift for the guest, and he is giving me this expensive watch or silver item or something, and you take it away. You're not harming anyone. You're not telling a lie. You're a good person. Nobody's blaming you for anything. But deep in your mind, deep in your emotions, you know that this person gave this particular item for the work that I had done for him. You know yourself. So when that is fitting you, then you are guilty. So here, Patanjali's, these terms may be very simple, but when you analyze yourself deep in your layers, you don't have to prove for anyone. So here, Patanjali is not saying there is somebody sitting high up and examining whether you're following these things. No, he's not saying that. He's saying you observe yourself, you examine yourself, and it's up to you. So there is no one who is saying, oh, this particular student, did he follow Yama? Did he follow Niyama? How many marks I can give? No, there's nothing. There is no supervision here. So it is for all of us to go deep into our layers and see where we are not following these things. And then it's a constant improvement. I'm not saying we all have to suddenly change from tomorrow. It's a constant learning process. That's all I want to add.
Thank you. Yes, Deepika or Archana ji, otherwise we'll go to others. You want to add something?
I just want to say, Pradeep bhai, you giving such a simple examples it becomes very easy to assimilate and understand. Thank you so much for such a writing it so simply and nicely.
Thank you.
He is man of example. Yes, Deepika. Anything you want to add?
Sir, first of all, thank you very much to
No, that's
everyone,
fine.
and
But on the
especially
subject,
to
you want to
okay,
add
okay.
something on subject?
Actually, only one point, sir. I am telling in this one also in Telugu. మన మనల్ని మనం ఎప్పుడైతే పరిశీలించుకుంటామో లోతుగా, అప్పుడు మనం చాలా జీవనశైలి మార్చుకోవచ్చు. అలాగే మనం చాలా మనల్ని మనం తెలుసుకొని చాలా మందికి కూడా మంచి చేసినట్లు అవుతుంది. ఈ మాటలు చాలా క్షుణ్ణంగా చెప్పేస్తున్నాను నేను, బట్ అందులో చాలా అర్థం చేసుకుంటే చాలా విషయం ఉంటుంది అని మనల్ని మనం మార్చుకోవడమే అసలైన విషయం ఇక్కడ. మనం సెల్ఫ్ యాక్సెప్టెన్స్ ఉండాలి అండ్ చేంజ్ యాక్సెప్టెన్స్ టు చేంజ్ ఉండాలి. That is what I have want to add, sir. Thank
In
you.
short, in 2 sentences, please translate it into English also. Whatever you said.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Whatever you said, just
Yeah.
in 2 sentences. So we can all understand your point. Deepika, whatever you said just now, can you explain it in English? Or Pradeep ji, did you understand?
Okay. Yeah, sir. Surely.
Yeah, sure.
Just I am telling that the big thing we do in our lives is the main part is acceptance in what we actually are. We will set a limits and self some objections to change. Actually, we don't accept what we are in some. If we are in some mistakenly do something or some in some situations, it makes a bigger difference when we just accept it and we change our thoughts. And when we follow the contents in this today topic with the self change, actually, we can make it a big difference. We can make it a very bigger, massive difference. Then we can make a happy situation. And we can change the situation into happy things. That one only I told us. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much. Yes, Sharnaji, you have raised your hand. Please go ahead. Unmute. Kindly unmute. No, we are not getting you. We are not hearing your voice. Some technical hitch is there. No. Have you joined here? Are you on with? No, we are not hearing your voice.
No, we are not listening what you're saying.
There must be some technical problem.
Technical problem is there. So you can unmute again and later on. Yes, Prakash ji, Dubal ji. Want to add
Yes, the subject was very interesting, and I have gone through the Patanjali'S Yoga Sutra, Taimni, but the way Pradeep ji has explained in a simple way, it deeply entered into my heart. Very simple examples, and also the translators did it very nicely in Hindi and Kerala. So I am really impressed by them, because there are first object of Theosophical Society to form a nucleus of universal brotherhood, and that we indirectly get that message through this Yoga Sutra also, that if we are following the harmlessness, So that means gradually we are increasing our fraternity to all the life, and our objective of study and service. So that is culminated out of that study, and then we are ready to serve the society and our unfortunate people in the society also. That is how this is inspiring us. So really nice, Brother Pradeep ji, in a simple terminology he explained. At the same time, I would like to say that I'm attending the School of Wisdom recently going on every Friday by Brother Ricardo Lindman from Brazil.
Brazil,
So
yeah.
that is the same subject he's talking, and he is also deeply explaining this thing. So it is coincident that I am getting this thing reminded everything, and really nice, very
Yes.
impressive.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dubal ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes, Prakash ji. Thank you for joining. कुछ कहना चाहते हैं आप?
Yeah, Brother Taral, I have joined a little late. However, it was very interesting, and I will definitely hear it again on the YouTube link as you have shared. But seeing your face, I remember the song Jeena Isi Ka Naam Hai. The performance at Blavatskia we had together. It was really wonderful, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Keep joining for many more, sir.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, Shehnazi, is your voice okay now? Just try. Or we'll go to Abaji. Silan साहब, आप भी कुछ कहना चाहते हैं?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, now you are
Very
audible.
divine evening to all of you, all the masters. आप लोगों का जो ये explanation था, it was very nice because I have gone through Patanjali yoga, and मैं ये कहूँगी in a very simple way. Pradeep ji had described. Translation was also very good. इसमें अर्चना जी ने भी क्लैरिफिकेशन के लिए जो दिया हिंदी में वो भी बहुत अच्छा था. In a very simple words. तो जो उन्होंने ट्रेन का दिया कि ट्रेन में आपने टिकट लिया है लेकिन किसी दूसरे के पे आप सो रहे हैं यदि, तो लीगली इट इज करेक्ट. जब तक वो नहीं आता है आप सो रहे हैं, लेकिन मॉरली इट इज इनकरेक्ट. लीगली आपको कोई वहां से नहीं उठा सकता है. तो लीगली और मॉरली यही, इसी को आई के टैमिनी जी ने बड़ा वो किया है कि लीगली हम बड़े सही अपने को आपको मान लेते हैं, लेकिन धीरे धीरे जो सोसाइटी में जो भूल लग रहा है वो इसी लीगली और मॉरली के बीच में लग रहा है.
जी.
हर चीज जरूरी नहीं है कि वो लीगली हम उस पर कह दें कि ये तो लीगली बिल्कुल सही है, लेकिन मॉरली हमें सोचना पड़ेगा. और यही जो है एक हेल्दी सोसाइटी की निशानी है.
जी.
अपरिग्रह जो है, जो मैंने देखा कि चीजों को इकट्ठा करना, ये भी जिसे कहते हैं ये भी चोरी ही है. अस्ते में और इसमें बहुत फर्क नहीं है. चीजों को इकट्ठा कर रहे हैं, इसका मतलब क्या है? वी आर स्टोरिंग समथिंग. हम किसी दूसरे का हक ले रहे हैं. यदि किसी के पास जरूरत से ज्यादा है, इसका मतलब वो डेफिनेटली दूसरे का ले रहा है जिसके पास कम. तो चीजों को, मुझे अपना भी बचपन याद आता है कि हम लोग पहले बहुत कम में बहुत संतुष्ट थे. वी वर ब्रदर्स एंड सिस्टर्स. आजकल कम ज्यादा चीजें होती हैं, लोग कम होते हैं. पहले लोग ज्यादा होते थे, चीजें कम होती थी, लेकिन हैप्पीनेस बहुत होती थी. आजकल आप उसके बिना, जो आप कह रहे हैं कि जो किसी चीज के लिए, जो आज मेरे लिए विलासिता की चीज है, वो कल दूसरे के लिए एक नेसेसिटी बन जाती है. वो उसकी एक अनिवार्यता बन जाती है. इसको हमें हटाना पड़ेगा कि हम उसको एसेंशियल मान लेते हैं. तो ये बहुत ही सटल डिफरेंस है जिनका कि आई के टैमनी जी ने बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से किया है. मैं ये कहूंगी, बोलने को तो बहुत कुछ है लेकिन सभी को बोलना है, और वी स्पीकर्स हैं, दे आर वेटिंग. उन सब, नहीं तो ये भी चोरी हो जाएगी समय की.
समय की चोरी.
यस, ये भी दूसरे का हक मारना हुआ. तो थैंक यू सो मच. इन्हीं वर्ड्स के साथ मैं अपने वक्तव्य को बताऊंगी. थैंक यू सो मच टू ऑल द स्पीकर्स.
आप थोड़ी सी लेट जुड़ी तो आपको बता दूं कि हर मंगलवार, जो पहला मंगलवार होगा हर महीने का, उसमें अष्टांग योगा के एक पूरे 8, मतलब ये पहला था, अगले महीने के पहले मंगलवार को दूसरा, इस तरह से 8 महीने तक पहले मंगलवार को ये पूरा हम अष्टांग योगा खत्म करेंगे.
ओके ओके, बहुत अच्छा है. बस छोटा सा एक बात और है कि आजकल तो पतंजलि के नाम से लोग पतंजलि का वो कर रहे हैं. आप पतंजलि वहां जाएंगे हरिद्वार में, तो वो डोनेशंस लिए जा रहे हैं. वहां चीजों का दाम बढ़ाया जा रहा है, लेकिन है वो पतंजलि के नाम का ही है. तो
जी।
ये सारी चीजें भी उनके
Yes.
नाम पे हो रही है, तो देख के थोड़ा दुख तो होगा। थैंक यू सो मच।
सिल्लर साहब कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं या नहीं, तो फिर हम हर्षवर्धन जी को आमंत्रित करेंगे। जूनियर आ गया है दीपिका जी की गोद में। मुझे नहीं लगता सिल्लर साहब कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं, तो हर्षवर्धन जी प्लीज गो अहेड। सरनाज जी
Yes,
आपका ठीक हुआ? सरनाज जी, नो यू आर नॉट ऑडिबल।
there
कैन यू
is a
ज्वाइन
problem.
अगेन? कैन यू ज्वाइन अगेन? देन इट विल बी ऑडिबल।
एक बार क्विट हो जाइए आप, उसके बाद
क्विट
रिज्वाइन
करके फिर
कीजिए।
से ज्वाइन कीजिए तो आपका ऑडियो आ जाएगा। यस हर्षवर्धन जी, यू कैन गो अहेड टिल शी जॉइन्स अगेन।
Yes, very nice discussion today, and this subject is selected in a very different perspective. Patanjali Muni propagated all these paths, 4 paths. He never talked about Atma and soul and everything. He only talked about life. He only talked about the attributes. But these attributes in sadhana path, they are not merely the attributes, they are not the words, but that is the practical life, how to remain blissful, how to remain very healthy, and how to develop our innermost understanding. So here the purpose is very clear. And discussion on this particular subject of Patanjali is really very important nowadays in the modern times. Thousands of years ago, Patanjali Muni propagated all this with no option. He also amalgamated all the different elements which were there in nature. And we live with the innermost elements. That is our psyche. If we do wrong, something wrong is going to be done. If we steal something, something will be there at the loss on our side. So this is only the common thing, that how we live in life, that is more important. It is just like the Pandora's box. In the Greek mythological story, there is the story of Pandora. So all these vices and evil elements were locked up in the box. And Pandora was advised not to open it. But how we become inquisitive? When we are told that something that we have not to do, then again we just go and try to do it because inclination is there. So sometimes we have to have this understanding that whatever we follow in life, that should be not for only well-being of ourselves, but also the well-being of other people.
Yes.
If we don't steal anything, that means this is not the lesson that is to be taught. It should be put into the practice.
Yes.
Speaking the truth, or every time you cannot preach, speak the truth, don't tell lies, like that. All these are the maxims. Maxims cannot be explained in the way. They should be lived very nicely, so that all the people in society used to have this kind of inclination, this kind of understanding, and they can do better for the well-being of all the people, not individually. So this is really very remarkable matter that is taught in the Indian culture. This Patanjali Muni's 4 paths, they are there, and it is really the best way which leads us to the divinity. When you don't do anything wrong to anyone, that means you are the divine person. When you don't tell anything lie to anyone, that means you go with the divinity. You have the inner strength. You can never be conquered by anyone who does wrong. So this is really very important thing for us. So for that, yam, niyam, and other attributes are given. That is for explanation. For a deeper study, if we abstain doing something wrong, that teaches us the best lesson in life. It is the life of penance. It is not the life of going on fast and eating nonsensical stuff at the end of the day. It is not the fast is in that way we observe. So observing the fast is the purest thing in life. How to remain healthy. Observing the yam and niyam, that is the purification of our mind. Mentally we get purification. And when we are pure, it means we never hurt anyone. We will never tell lies. We will always help everyone. So these are the things not to be taught. They are to be observed in life very naturally. It is a natural life and blissful life. So today, this particular subject is really important. And I just heard from you, Taral sir, that it will be there on every first Tuesday of every month. So really, it will be very fruitful. And even all the different smaller maxims, which are really important when if you just speak, it has the rhythmic sound, and that also touches our heart. If you even don't explain in any language, but when you speak it, it really creates a kind of intonation, a kind of thing which is really very marvelous and melodious. I also congratulate Deepika. I could listen to your language, that is Tamil, I think, and certain words that we can understand. But it was rhythmic. Listening to her was really a marvelous experience for me. And Pradeep ji, I congratulate you. And of course, Archana ji, you translate every time very well in Hindi, in Gujarati, and even in English also. So I congratulate all of you. Thank you very much.
Harshvardhan ji, as you know that in Guwahati we had a study session. You were the teacher. At that time, we have just inaugurated news channel as well as OTT channel. So what this is going to be is that later on, all the English versions will be put on the English language department on OTT. Tamil will be kept on Telugu will be kept on Telugu, and Hindi on Hindi. So one can study all the 8 Ashtanga Yoga thing in 3 languages separately also in one flow. So that is what is intention of this exercise is. It's an experiment. Let's see.
Sure. That will be followed very sincerely, and I think all the people or all those who are the members listening to this Triveni and other groups also, they will also be benefited in that way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Atul bhai, please go ahead.
Shahnaz is on now.
Okay, Shahnaz ji, boliye.
Hello.
You are back. Yes,
Oh.
loud and clear.
That is nice.
Okay. So I congratulate all 3 of them. Very well said. Now the yamas have been explained very well, but I want to elaborate a little on Chitta Vritti Nirodha and Prana Vritti Nirodha.
Okay.
So Guruji in his book, I'm talking about Guruji Iyengar. In his book, he says that the Kathopanishad describes yoga as when the senses are still, when the mind is at rest, when the intellect wavers not, then the highest stage is reached. He who attains this stage is free from delusion. In the second aphorism of the first chapter of Yoga Sutras, Patanjali describes yoga as Chitta Vritti Nirodha. This may be translated as restraint of mental modifications or as suppression of the fluctuations of consciousness. Now, Chitta is a word, a Hindi word. It includes many other things than just mind. So the word Chitta denotes the mind in its total or collective sense as being composed of 3 categories. Mind, manas, that is the individual mind having the power and faculty of attention, selection and rejection. It is the oscillating, indecisive faculty of the mind. The second factor is intelligence or reason, buddhi. That is the decisive state which determines the distinction between things. And the third one is ego ahamkara, literally the I maker, the state which ascertains that I know. Now, this is what Patanjali describes in Chitta Vritti Nirodha. In Hatha Yoga PRADEEPIKA, on the other hand, says that the yoga is Prana Vritti Nirodha, stilling the fluctuations of the breath. The mind can go in many directions in a split second. Its movements are very fast and varied, but the breath has only one path, inhalation and exhalation. It can pause in Kumbhaka, but cannot multiply like the mind. Hence, controlling the breath and observing its rhythms brings the consciousness to stillness. Hence, though Hatha Yoga Pradipika begins with the control of prana, breath or energy, and Patanjali's Yoga Sutra begin with the control of consciousness, yet they meet at a certain point and there is ultimately no difference between them.
Oh.
By controlling breath, you are controlling consciousness, and by controlling consciousness, you bring rhythm to the breath. Thus, yoga is the method by which the restless mind is calmed and the energy directed into constructive channels.
Wow.
That's what I wanted to just add.
Thank you so much for enlightening us. And Sharnaji, you are the next speaker. Just select the one Tuesday.
The same thing, Taralji, I was thinking about her. Sharna should speak in Triveni.
Yes, yes. So please give me a date on Tuesday and you can speak
Sir,
in.
she is a yoga teacher also.
Yeah. So I leave it on you how to contact her. Okay, Atul bhai, please go ahead. And Keshwar,
Thank you.
good that we see you again. Thank you for joining. Yeah, Atul bhai.
કેશવરબેન શિવોહમનું ગાન કરાવશે અને ત્યારબાદ આપણે સભાનું સમાપન કરીશું. કેશવરબેન, આપનું સ્વાગત.
मनोबुद्धि अहंकार चेतानि नाहम् न कर्णं न जीवा न च घ्राण नेत्रे न च व्योम भूमि न तेजो न वायुः चिदानंद रूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् चिदानंद रूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न च प्राण संज्ञो न वै पंचवायु न वा सप्त धातु न वा पंचकोशः न वाक्पाणिपादौ न चापस्थपायुः चिदानंद रूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् चिदानंद रूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न मे द्वेष रागौ न मे लोभ मोहौ मदो नैव मे नैव मत्सर्य भावः न धर्मो न चार्थो न कामो न मोक्षः चिदानंद रूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् चिदानंद रूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न पुण्यं न पापं न सौख्यं न दुःखं न मन्त्रो न तीर्थं न वेदा न यज्ञ अहं भोजनं नैव भोज्यं न भोक्तः चिदानंद रूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् चिदानंद रूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम्. न मृत्यु न शंका न मे जाति भेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्मः न बन्धुर्न मित्रं गुरुर्नैव शिष्यः चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभुत्वा च सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणां न वा सङ्गतं नैव मुक्तिर्न मेयः चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम्
Thank you so much, Ishwarji. Really